Parents and students, welcome back. Today we are going to be taking a look at the Ukrainian folk tune. So for the start of the song, we are in a comfortable G position. I'm going to start with the right hand melody, and then we'll talk about the left hand. So we're going to start with staccato notes on one. That's going to be our G. We're going to play three of these: G, 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 B, D, 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 B, A, D, C, B, G. You notice I am playing those last two notes with a legato because everything else is marked with this staccato marking, but we have that slur. That means that this B, G is going to be a nice little legato followed by a rest. So the right hand part for that whole first line goes like this. Also, rhythmically, make sure that you are paying attention to the eighth notes versus the quarter notes. So that B, G, that B is going to be a quarter note. The G is an eighth note, but only because we have that rest right after it. All right, second line is the exact same thing. So pretty easy in the right hand. Now let's go ahead and let's take a look at the left hand. We are going to be playing 1 and 5 together, and it's going to last for two measures. We also have what's called a grace note, and that's going to be this C sharp. It's going to sound a little odd at first, but when you hear it with the song, it'll kind of make more sense. You're actually going to play the C sharp and then go into the chord, so it's going to sound like this. Now, the point of a grace note is to barely even hear it. We want to get away from that note as quick as possible. So the two lines, or the first two lines with hands together, should sound like this. Let me start that over one more time. Second line. Alright, pretty easy for the first couple of lines. Now let's take a look at the third line. We're actually going to shift hand positions. We're going to go from a G position to an E position. Again, we'll just start with the right hand part, and that is going to go three. It's going to be B with the fifth finger, so it's going to be B, B, G, F sharp. Make sure you got that. That's in the key signature. Thumb on E, F sharp, G, A, B, A, G, F sharp, E. And then we're going to go into an octave E. So we're actually going to leave this hand position so that we can get our pinky up to that octave higher E. So that line one more time in the right hand is going to be. So I played the first ending on that last line. The second ending comes after we do the repeat. So a first and a second ending means the first time through I play number 1 in that bracket, and then the second time I skip number 1 and I go straight to number 2. Number 2 is going to be this: B, A, G, F sharp, E, and then up to that octave higher E. The only difference between this legato and the ones before is I actually do play this E as a staccato, so I'm going to want to bring my hand up pretty quickly. All right, the left hand is basically going to do the exact same thing it did when we were in G position, but now it's going to hit an A sharp to this E and B chord, so it's going to be, again, it's that grace note. We're getting to our chord as quickly as we possibly can. I'm just going to go ahead and play this with the first ending now. All right? So here we're going to go. Let me start that one more time. And then that left hand is actually going to switch to a different chord here when we get to this F sharp. And that's going to be a C and a D. So you're basically going to just stretch these two fingers out. If we're in E position here, we just stretch our thumb and our pinky out. One more key. That SF right there is a sforzando. That means we play this loud. Beethoven actually used to write these in to wake the audience up. And I think that's a helpful way to think about a sforzando, is just, I'm trying to wake the audience up at this point. So going into it, it would probably sound a little bit something like this. Just a very loud, abrupt. Then I will quickly play the second ending, hands together. The second ending is going to go up to that octave E, and you're just going to play an E chord in the left hand without doing that A sharp. So it's going to go like this. And that's it. That's the whole song, the Ukrainian folk tune. All right. I hope that helps, and let me know if you guys have any questions.